Well, uh, I'm baffled. I was not expecting this in the slightest. Somehow, people are watching these videos, and I was not expecting that. I thought I'd get maybe one or two views after a month of them being up, and I'm shocked and terrified because things are actually happening now, and now there's actually people watching these things, which makes me want to make it so that I'm outputting something worthy of being watched and not just the 1 to 2 minute little snippets that I've been posting so far about, just like oh yeah, my day was nice. How was your, yeah, I did a little bit of stuff. It was cool. Uh, that's what I was doing today. So, uh, what floored me even more is that people are subscribing, and I thought that this channel was going to be like a ships passing in the night kind of thing. A few people look at it and they're like, "Yeah, whatever. This is wacky. This is weird." Uh, who doesn't who doesn't upload visual entertainment on a YouTube channel? This isn't like a podcast setup or anything. And even if it was, there's no visual aid. It's like how's that gonna ever work in YouTube? There's no way you're gonna get subscribers. And it's like, well, yeah, that was technically the plan. Um, if nobody sees the stuff, then then I don't have to go through and feel bad for putting out bad stuff. But some people are actually watching the content, and that is terrifying. It's just like shaken to my core. I was not expecting it. And it happened like all at once too in the past 2 days. It was crazy. So I'm floored. There's there's people commenting on the channel too. You know who you are. Thank you. They were lovely comments. I appreciate them. Um, and that was shocking to me as well because I didn't think anyone would want to engage with this, but there seem to be some people who are willing and happy to engage with it. So if that's the case, then I have no qualms with that happening. I guess I'm scattered all over the place. This is crazy. My heart's going like a million miles an hour. All right, let's see if I can refocus. I I wanted to talk about two things. One of them was the goal that I had for the channel, and the other one was how I can incorporate the people who are watching my stuff to actually make it so I'm outputting things that are worth watching. It sounds a little weird, but give that a second. I'll address that in a moment. So my process for creating things, and the whole point of this channel is for me to create, right? The reason I've been posting these small 2-minute clips is so I slowly get into the habit of actually uploading things. And as I'm slowly getting into the habit of actually uploading things, then presumably I would start enjoying it more. And the more that I enjoy it, the more effort I want to put into it. Um, but it's hard to want to put effort into an unseen thing that takes more work talking to myself than just talking to myself, right? So it's like I have to talk to myself and then do a few extra steps. So, set up the recording booth and all the things, and then and then all the finaglings of turning an audio file into it. Honestly, it's not that much work, but I find that if you have 30 seconds of extra effort in front of something, it instantly makes you way less likely to do it. So, pro tip: if you want to stop doing certain things, just put them on the top shelf where you have to get a stool to get them or something, and you'll find that you'll tend to not get those. The inverse is true as well. If you take the things that you really want to do, and you put them closer so they're easily accessible. I did this with my. Am I only recording on one channel? This is terrible. Hold on. Sorry. False alarm. We're all good. Sorry. I totally disrupted myself. If you have things that you don't want to do, put it in like a high shelf where you have to get something to get there. So there's an extra step in between you and that thing. Password protection on your YouTube apps. There's some different apps that'll do that for you. If you want to stop watching YouTube, counterproductive, isn't it? If you want to start drawing more or reading more, put the book next to like where you sit when you go through and you like drink your morning coffee, and then you'll end up drinking your morning coffee, and if you have some time, or you find out where here's the general idea. Take your remote for your TV and put it in like a drawer in your kitchen, and take the book that you want to read and put it where your remote normally goes. And then that makes you have a higher proclivity towards reading versus watching the TV. Now, that doesn't mean you're instantly going to start watching the TV. Obviously, I wasn't sitting down and posting a ton of videos over and over and over again because because I set up my room so that it's as easy as possible to do these. That's a bad example. Sorry, I'm getting so sidetracked. I'm a little frazzled. I was so shocked when I saw that there were actually people who wanted to hear the ramblings that I had to say. It's just baffling to me. Well, sorry. Let's see. Okay, that aside, because that is a whole other side tangent. I can do a whole video on ways that I got myself to stop watching YouTube and not being on Instagram and social media and all the stuff. If you guys are interested, just let me know. My creation process, that's where I was going with this. My creation process is one where I have like an output, right? So the thing that I create, and then I have feedback on that, right? So I'll look at it and I'll be like, well, this could have been better this way, or I liked it this way, you should do more of that. And then I'll reflect on that feedback, and then I'll change how I'm producing the thing, and then I'll produce a thing, and that's just a nice circular cycle that gets me to the thing that I want to do, right? So when you go through and watch my videos, there's an understanding from my end that you're taking your time out of your day to watch these things. And that's not a small thing to do. I know that a lot of people say that they have no time throughout the day. They have a lot of time if they... I've met 2 people in my life. I've met a lot of people, but I've met 2 people in my life that have never... that genuinely didn't have the time for stuff. And it was shocking when I met them, because almost everybody has time for stuff. They were ridiculously high go-getters and super stressed, and I hope they're doing well right now. But that aside, you're spending your time to listen to me doing my ramblings and my my forthcomings and my speaking to myself in a somewhat Socratic way, where I'll go and I'll ask a question and then I'll answer that question and then I'll ask another question, so on and so forth. So if you guys are watching it, this is where you guys could get incorporated in the creation of the process, like the process of creating. If you guys like certain aspects of the videos, let me know and I'll try to understand what those pieces are. So it's a little hard to understand what you like about certain videos, right? Something that could be interesting would be background music, right? Screen cards where I draw a little piece of art and then put it on the thing. I'm not against this kind of thing. The reason why I haven't been posting a ton of long content, my first 2 videos were like 30 minutes long, both of them, and, and somehow people watch them, and thank you for that, whoever you are, and I hope it was useful, But if you guys are like, hey, you could incorporate this, or hey, I liked how you did this, or you have way too much space in your videos. Could you edit it down a little so that all of your long spaces full of air aren't there? Your spaces of nothing are gone. It's like, okay, I can spend a few minutes and go through and cut out the big long pauses that I do. Probably not all of them. Who knows? The more I do this, the more I'll probably get into it. Or like, hey, could you break down the process at which you started these kinds of things? Or, hey, hey, are you interested in this kind of thing? You could do a video about that, or like breaking down some sort of different things, whatnot. I know that there's a little bit of interpersonality in this conversation, and that's I'm planning on not doing a ridiculous amount of that. Interpersonal relationships online aren't good for you. I highly don't recommend them. So if you guys are like, hey, I really liked your longer form content, could you do more of that? And I can sit down and I can figure out things to talk about. It's not that hard to figure out things to talk about. It's just I didn't think anyone was watching this, so I didn't, want to put the effort towards setting all of it up and jumbling my thoughts into a coherent manner to talk about them, Or somebody goes, hey, if you could summarize the clips on what you're talking about, and have the spacing in the videos where you can click to the different areas, and it's like, okay, cool, this is the section where he's rambling, and this is the condensed portion of that rambling. That could be really useful. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not hard for me to do. Or, add descriptions for whatever the heck the video is about, It's like, sure, why not? That's like 30 seconds of work. Hey, could you, tell me about the different things that you've been doing that you might end up putting on this channel so I know what to choose from and what not to choose from? It's like, sure, I can make a list and, talk about all of the different things that I've done that I'm planning on putting on this channel eventually. So if I'm planning on putting it on the channel eventually, I might as well do it, So basically what I'm saying is, if you're watching the videos and you're taking the time out of your day to give input on the videos, I'll read the comments. There's no promise that I'll take it to heart. I am not promising that at all. But I'll at least read it and take it into consideration when I'm setting up stuff, because I've done these creation projects, collaborative creating projects, multiple times. I've done solo projects and collaborative, and I find that whenever I incorporate more people to give ideas, it creates a melting pot of ideas that refines whatever the heck I was trying to do. And and that's useful, you know? It's like, hey, that's something there. I tried to do this just a second ago, but I I ended up rambling for like 5 minutes without actually getting to the point. Um, which happens when you don't, you know, orient your thoughts before you sit down in front of a microphone. You'll have to orient your thoughts while you're in front of the microphone. It's like, okay, cool. Um, to get to the point so I don't get sidetracked again, I got ridiculously terrified when I saw that people were watching the videos, cuz it's scary to have it's terrifying to have someone that you don't know that could absolutely know better than you tell you that you're wrong. You know, when you thought you were right, it's like, oh yeah, it's a terrifying thought. It's like someone who definitely knows what they're doing is like, hey, you're wrong about this, and it's like, ouch. I don't like being wrong about things, but I but you obviously know more about me on this. So when I saw people had watched it, I'm like, okay, cool. People had commented too, and it's like awesome, great. We're getting somewhere for a reciprocal loop that should help improve what you're watching and improve what I'm making. So it's like, okay, great. It's an incredible feedback loop that social media has the potential for. And then I saw that people were liking the video, and it's like, oh, someone's liking the video, and I'm like, oh no, this is terrifying because I'm I'm constantly in a bit of a self-reflection loop, trying to make sure that I am not in an echo chamber, because that's the worst thing that I think I could do socially, is sit down and surround myself with yes men who are like, yeah, you're constantly doing, this thing. I know that my dad has a few stories about when that happened to him, and he's like, guys, you should have just told me I was doing something stupid, and then I could have fixed it. I've done that a few times too. Yeah. Just. Uh, but what helped, you know, like put me more at ease is that one of my videos had a dislike, and I'm like, oh, well, this is wonderful. This is feedback. This isn't just, I was terrified that somehow I had stumbled upon a method that didn't feel like I was doing the best that I could do, that was only garnering success. And it's like, why would you be terrified of that? You should be happy. And it's like, well, because it doesn't feel like I'm doing the best I can do. So if I'm succeeding at the stuff that feels like I'm failing at, then at some point I'm not gonna know where the limit is, right? So it's good to know where your limits are. It's like, okay, cool. So if you touch something that's hot, your hand's gonna get burned. If you go through and you surround yourself by yes men and you blindly walk forward into the abyss, then when you come across a cliff and you're like, am I going the right direction? And all of them go, yeah, boss, you're going the right direction. And you fall. It's like, no wonder you fell. It's because you didn't listen to the backlash of, you didn't have any backlash because you surrounded yourself by people who weren't willing to, who didn't want to go through and actually tell you where you're wrong. It's like, okay, so I want to make sure that the people who I'm cultivating to watch these videos is a mixed bag of people with varying opinions, so that so that no matter what, there's some kind of feedback throughout. You know, I feel like I've gotten a lot of different likes and whatnot because people are like, "Hey, this dude's just starting out, and it's incredible that he's starting his thing." And and it's like, "Hey, props to him for actually getting to it." And it's like, "Thanks, I appreciate that." But it's a-okay. I actually encourage it to call me out when I'm doing something wrong. It's like, hey, could you put background music in the back of your videos? I get a little, while I'm sitting there listening to your voice, there's like a weird, sleepiness that comes over me as just like rambling on, and just a little bit of background music would really help solidify the attention. It's like, sure, I can go through and find some sort of track or like, play a little bit of guitar on the background or, find something. Get a few spoons and just start clicking them together. But yeah. That aside, I was so relieved and like laughed to myself when I saw that one of my videos had a dislike. And it's like, oh, look at that. I'm actually getting some sort of feedback. It's not as in depth as I would prefer, and that's totally fine. That the thumbs up and the thumbs down are speakages enough of people liked and people didn't like, and it's like, okay, fair enough. I won't expect you to put more effort into the video, like sitting down typing a whole explanation for why you didn't like it beyond clicking a button, because if you didn't like the video, it makes sense for why you wouldn't want to put more effort into the video, especially right now because I don't have like a constant audience. I think I have like one or two actually consistent viewers. And it's like, thanks for watching my stuff. If you have any input, let me know. Cuz it'd be good to work on these things. I should probably have summary pieces at the ends of these videos. Nah, might do that another time. Anyway, yeah, you know, this is my 2 subscriber celebration. Thank you very much. And also, I'm absolutely terrified. Why did you click that button? Now I have my own self-expectations to crumble under as I fumble through the idea of someone's actually watching this, so I might as well make it worth watching. But yeah,